Sports scores and highlights. News 18. Sports from where you live.
All right, welcome back. For just the third time in Ross-Ade Stadium history, Purdue will host a Friday night game when it takes on number 2 Oregon. The Boilermakers are a 4-touchdown underdog. Can Purdue keep this game competitive tonight, Alan?
That's the great question, Stacy. I mean, I know the Boilermakers really had a great second half. Ryan Brown, as you see here, got the kind of the olive out of the jar on this play in the long pass to Jamal Edrine that got Purdue its first touchdown last week. This is a game, though, that Purdue cannot do what it's been doing, and that's play as poorly as it has in the first half, or it will be a boat race that Oregon will put on the Boilermakers. So Purdue has to play at its best. Ryan Brown, as you see here, was terrific, and of course Reggie Love III, and runs like that. Purdue was able to run the ball efficiently last week. Ryan Brown running for over 118 yards. Devin Mockabee also a huge run here. Purdue has to be able to control the line of scrimmage and hope that it can keep the game competitive past halftime today.
It was so close. I thought they were going to win.
Yeah,
and
no
they
doubt.
just didn't pull it off. Well,
Yeah.
Oregon is fast and physical, as they showed last week in its win over Ohio State. What is the key for Purdue to stay in the game?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, but it's really keeping Oregon's speed at bay. And how do you do that? You got to control the football. Oregon has speed everywhere you look, from the running back position, quarterback, at receivers. You see here defensively, Purdue has to find a way to slow the game down. We've seen this before where Purdue's been able to do that a little bit. They did that a little bit against Illinois last week, but Oregon is a whole different animal, literally a whole different duck, I should say.
Yes, quack,
and,
quack.
they're going to be a very, very big challenge for Purdue's defense, which has been one of the most porous in the country. So that's going to be the big challenge. Not as much as Purdue move the ball, but Purdue slow Oregon down.
Well, as you can imagine, with just one win in 6 games in 2024, Coach Ryan Walters is drawing some heat with rumors swirling. How do you view his current status?
Well, I think fans need to be patient for the short term, especially. I mean, yeah, when you're 1-5 and you've underachieved as a football team, it's naturally going to be those types of conversations. I don't think anything happens. I think they'll evaluate it very, very closely at the end of the season. Let's see how this season finishes out. Ryan Walters and company would like to make a statement. The problem is, Stacy, you've got 3 of the best teams in the country, 3 playoff caliber teams that you still have in the schedule with Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State. So wins are going to be hard to come by, but improvement is what Purdue needs, and competitiveness. We saw that in the second half against Illinois, so we'll see what happens.
So what's your predictions then? What do you think?
Oh, I think it'll be entertaining tonight in terms of the first half. I think Purdue will be in this game for a while. The environment will be great. You always say that when you pick Purdue to lose. I think Oregon's will beat Purdue 41-20. The Ducks, again, 27-point favorites. So I think Purdue's going to be a little bit closer than expected. I think Ryan Brown and company can make this game interesting. Of course, Purdue's freshman quarterback that had the big game last week.
Well, I'm going to be going to the game tonight,
Good
and
for
it's
you.
going to be wonderful. And I interviewed the All-American Band. They came in, and they're going to have a great show at halftime. Their uniforms are going to light up with the music, so that'll be something to see.
State will halftime, but actually I think it'll be into the second half where this game's going to go. So you hope that. But yeah, lights under Ross-Ade Stadium, the band, everything else. That's why college football is what it is. It'll be a lot of fun tonight.
It's going to be great. Well, we talked about this a little last week, but it is a flurry of activity around Purdue with Hall of Fame induction, basketball, fan day, and the big volleyball match tomorrow night. What are the details of the Hoops Fan Day tomorrow?
Well, and tonight the Hall of Fame class will be announced in the first break, I think, in the first half of the game. Women's basketball practice at 9 tomorrow. This is free, open to the public. There'll be a good crowd tomorrow, I'm sure. 9 to 10:30 a.m. can watch Katie Gerald's team. Autograph session from 10:30 to noon. Men's basketball practice noon to 1:30 in Mackey Arena. So a family event tomorrow around the campus at Mackey Arena for anybody that would like to check that out tomorrow. And of course, volleyball too tomorrow night. That big game where the Boilermakers will sell out that game against Indiana, 7:30 tomorrow night, or 7 o'clock, I think it is. Huge event in Mackey Arena.
So what guests will you have today for the Gold and Black Live?
Well, it's a busy day because we got a game tonight, so it's kind of different doing the show on a Thursday, or excuse me, on a Friday when you have a game Friday night. But Gold and Black Live, Tiffany Grimes will join us, Purdue's Deputy Athletic Director, Chris Pelliadot, kind of the person behind all the events, Purdue's fan experience guy. Really interesting conversation I expect to have with these guys. Tom Dienhart also will lead us off, talk a little Purdue Oregon football. Big day today, big day tomorrow around Purdue.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right,
you always
thanks,
do a fabulous job. And
thank you,
thanks for
Stacy.
joining us. Well, coming up, David will have one more look at the weather forecast. Stay with us.